How's it going, everybody? It's Nicholas Atkin here, South China Morning Post, SCMP Martial Arts, coming to you live from Hong Kong, 10 p.m. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where my good friend, Mr. Tom Taylor, is over in Ottawa, Canada. How are you doing, Tom? Good to see you again.
Good, man. Life's good. No complaints. Glad to be doing this with you again. We've got a lot to talk about today for sure. Lots of big fights announced over the last few days. Lots to unpack.
Yeah, tell me about it. We actually have something to talk about this time, which is good. I think
Yeah.
the last couple of times we've been really scraping the barrel for content. Uh, but yeah, like you said, a lot of fight news really we can talk about. You could see it in the thumbnail in the video. The main thing, Angela Lee is back against Xiong Jingnan, the Panda. They're doing a trilogy for the strawweight title. Angela gets another chance to be a champ. That one goes down September. I don't even know, 29, 30?
30th. Yeah, 30th.
Is that the UK, the US date, or the Singapore day?
I think it's the same date because it's in the morning again, right? So it's the morning in Singapore and the evening for the rest of the world.
I want the graphics on. I forgot all the graphics. Here you go.
Nice.
I'm just pressing them now.
Sounds
there
good.
we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love a bit of graphic action on the podcast. Yeah, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks. I think we didn't do one last week. Last time we did one, we had Renier the Ridder, or we were meant to have him, it didn't turn up. So it's had a bit of a Q&A sesh, but we always love the Q&A sesh. So if anyone wants to ask questions again, please feel free to drop one in the comments there. And while you're there, remember to like and subscribe, Tom. Isn't that right?
You can't forget that. That's probably the most important part of this whole thing, the liking and the subscribing.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I've actually got all the... They've made a new layout on this thing. Have you tried to mess around with it?
No, I haven't yet.
It's like when you go to a supermarket, right? And then they just change.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't been for a few months, you come back and they changed all the aisles and you don't know where anything is.
You can't find your bread anymore. Yeah, I've been there, man. It's that's a headache nobody wants to deal with.
Yeah, I've only got the Fanatics one. I was trying to find the please like and subscribe one. Oh, there it is. Okay, we finally got it. Please remember to like and subscribe. SCMP Martial Arts now on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, maybe coming soon, Tom.
Maybe.
Discord, I don't know. Let us know any other platforms you think we should be on. Otherwise, we'll keep it to YouTube. Our Instagram is getting a little bit popular, isn't it, though? You're putting in some stellar work.
Yeah, we're getting some good action there, man. The fighters tend to be really engaged, which is good. They're sharing all the posts we're whipping up and stuff, which is obviously helpful for our reach. But yeah, man, it's Instagram account's coming along. So thank you to everyone that's following along over there.
Yeah, a lot of fighters are subscribing and interacting. Yeah, I'm pleased to see the progress we've made. Aiden wants us on Spotify. Yeah, Aiden's actually reached out to me before, I think, on my personal Instagram, asking me if we can get an audio version of this on Spotify. So I can try. It's a lot of hassle because SCMP has their own Spotify channel, whatever you call it, and I don't think they'd take my awful podcast, so we'd have to set up our own thing.
Hold on
awfully
a second.
Good.
Yeah, awfully good. You got a great guest here today.
Yeah, I know I do.
I mean,
but there's some complications because I don't even know how it works. Do you get ad revenue or what?
No idea. On Spotify, yeah, I don't know.
So I'd have to figure out a deal with the company there. But anyway, good to see a few people in the chat. WMMAC now. Greetings all. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Where are you at, WMAC now? It's actually dark where I am, and it was raining all day. We had an amber rain signal, so not a beautiful day in Hong Kong, but I don't know where you actually live.
Is an amber rain signal like the rain rankings or something?
Yeah, black is the worst. Black rain. That's just you don't want to be in that. And then,
right.
I think there's red, which is slightly less severe. Amber is getting up there. It's,
right. Okay.
Traffic light kind of system, I think.
Yeah. Now I know.
Yeah.
Black rain. That sounds like a horror movie or something, or a fantasy novel.
A Prince song or something. Rudy says, did I read that correctly? Is a trilogy in the making? Yes, it is in the making.
I'd say it's more than in the making.
It's been made.
Yeah.
And hello to Leonardo. Thanks for joining us. Anyone else here, please, ask questions, leave comments. But the plan, just loosely to talk about some of these new matchups. And the main one, Angela Lee, Xiong Jingnan, September 29.
30.
Yeah,
I
let's
think.
find it. Let's get the screen up.
Let's do it.
So, Tom, you and I were at both of these first two fights in Tokyo. The first one at a new era where I met you for the first time.
It was the beginning of a
March.
new era of friendship, you might say.
Yeah, yeah, you might. And then we came back and did it again, October 2019 Century. Typhoon couldn't even stop it. That's how big this match was. And both fights went to the. Sorry, this mouse has the reverse settings of mine, so I'm just. When you like scroll up, I do the inverse thing.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, and then they both won in the 5th round, one apiece. Xiong Jingnan with the body kicks the first fight, and then Angela with the rear naked choke with about 10 seconds to go, something like that in the rematch. So it's all to play for, Tom, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I'm just glad it's happening, because sometimes we get these rivalries where two fighters will split a win apiece, and then you don't get the trilogy. A great example is this Conor McGregor Nate Diaz fight. I mean, maybe we'll get that big trilogy at some point, but it sounds like Nate's going to be leaving the UFC after his fight with Hamzat. So, it's possible that we won't see that one. And it's always a disappointing thing when there's a rivalry that begs to be settled that isn't settled. And the good news is that, barring some kind of no contest or fluky outcome, this one will be settled on September 30th. And if the first two fights are any indication, it's going to be excellent because, people forget how good those first two fights were. People remember the stoppages each woman had, but they were really competitive fights until the stoppages in the 5th round. They were swapping rounds. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an amazing fight, and I think it's a perfect headliner for the second event on Prime.
I'm a little bit. I don't want to seem ungrateful, Tom, because I love this matchup. Two great fights, and what a way to sort of bring in the Amazon era. I guess it's not the first card on Amazon, but it's the second. Still one of the first few on Amazon Prime Video. But part of me wanted Angela Lee against Ham Siohi. They seem to hint that was next. Ham is the number one contender at atomweight. Obviously, beat Denise Zamboanga at 1x in March in Singapore. You and I were both there. Sorry, I'm just trying to tweet our stream on my phone while talking to you. I'm not great at multitasking. I'll put it down for a minute. Yeah, so that was the option. They had two options for the fight. Let us know in the chat. Are you happy with this fight? Did you want the Ham fight? Yeah, are you, Tom? Are you disappointed, or do you think it's fine? And we're going to see the Ham fight, I guess, eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where either direction they went in for Angela, it was going to be kind of disappointing because there's another great matchup that sort of falls by the wayside as the other one is made, and they ended up going with this trilogy. I kind of think that's the right move. I know Ham's getting a little bit older. She doesn't have a ton of time in sport left, probably, but that matchup's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. This fight's happening in a month. It's possible we could see that fight even before the end of the year, depending how quickly Angela wants to get back in there. So provided they get to work on making that fight pretty quickly, no matter what happens in this trilogy, I'm cool with it.
Oh, fairly diplomatic answer.
Yeah. Well, I'm a diplomatic guy,
I know you are, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing for me where it's like, since that strawweight fight between Angela and Xiong Jingnan, March 2019, so 3.5 years ago, am I right?
Yeah. Good math.
Yeah, it's almost like they still haven't built up a real challenger for the Panda since then. I know she's kind of dispatched a few women since then. Michelle Nicolini, Ayaka Miura. I might be forgetting one more. Tiffany Teo again. I think. Yeah. So she's had 3.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not saying. Oh, she put in great performance. Did Xiong Jingnan to beat them handily, but it's like the division hasn't got going, and they've had to go back and reach down back to the Angela plan, because I'm just saying, what I'm saying, I think, is that I'm a little disappointed they haven't spent that time building up a proper division for Xiong Jingnan to defend the belt in. Is that unfair of me, Tom, to want good things?
I think that's totally fair, and we've got Ong kind of asking questions to a similar end in the comments there, asking why is the trilogy happening at strawweight? I think, the answer is that there's nobody else at strawweight, right? That, this isn't just about keeping Angela busy. It's about keeping Xiong busy as well. She needs challengers. And at the moment, there's there's not really anybody else. And, they needed a main event for this second event on Prime. You had to assume all along that Angela was going to be a part of one of these early ones, because she's one of the biggest stars they have. So I think this is just a fight that makes sense for them now. But yeah, hopefully, we've said this about so many divisions in one championship, and, it's not necessarily a criticism because it's very difficult to populate so many weight classes, but there are a few that are kind of struggling and have been struggling for a long time and don't seem to be getting any better, and I would say women's strawweight is one of them and men's middleweight is another. And I would just love to see them sign like dozens of fighters in both of those weight classes because the champions need new challenges.
Sorry, just chugging my
chug away, man.
Pellegrino there,
On that note, I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee. Anyone else drinking anything this evening?
Yeah, let us know what you're having in the chat. Speaking of the chat, I will get to a few of these comments because we always like to involve everyone, make you feel part of the show. Aiden saying, who have you got? John or Angela? A few people talking about it. We got Leonardo saying, I'm so excited for this trilogy. I got Lee, but both girls are so tough that anything can happen. Yeah, I'm kind of, that's how I feel about this fight. I wouldn't say it's a gimme for Angela, not at all.
No, I mean, this is the toughest fight available for Angela at any given time, I would say. That's my take. But I do think Angela will win probably. If we're doing predictions now, I think Angela
early predictions.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm leaning Angela because you always got to look at the most recent information available, right? And she won the second fight, so I mean that suggests to me that she probably has a pretty good chance of winning the third. And then obviously the big variable, the big question about Angela over the last couple of years has been how she'll look when she came back from her pregnancy, from her hiatus, and she looked amazing, right? So that question has been answered. There's no question now about ring rust, about motivation, about any of these things. We know she's better than ever. And if that's true, then I don't see why she can't beat Xiong again, who is, amazing, but I don't think she's improved as much as Angela has. And I'm leaning towards Angela in this one.
Yeah, and Panda's been a little gun shy.
That's the other big thing, right? Is she keeps talking about how, she's been sort of taking it easy on her opponents. She doesn't like hurting people. And that's not the outlook you want heading into a fight with someone like Angela, because, I mean, Angela proved in that last fight with Stamp that, she can take a licking and still win the fight too, right? So, I mean, I think Xiong's going to want to be as aggressive as possible. It's not going to work if she's not trying to take Angela's head off the entire time.
Yep. WMMA Sing now saying it's fast approaching 3 years in which Angeli's had only one title defense. Not sure if this trilogy shows continued favoritism to Lee or incompetence by one in signing fighters to Xiong's division. Feisty from WMMA Sing now today.
I will play devil's advocate for a second, or defend one or something for just a quick second. I mean, they have signed a few fighters to that division, but it seems like they're really kind of playing the long game, right? Because they've got Wonder Girl up there now. As I've said on previous podcasts, I think Victoria Lee's headed up there in her next fight. But these are girls that are not going to get title shots for at least a year or 2 years, right? Because they're brand new to MMA. So it's not helpful for a champion like Xiong right now to have these women in her division. They need to sign, established, like real contenders who, are on big win streaks and have lots of experience and title fights, ideally. But maybe it's easier said than done. I don't know. That's probably why I'm not a matchmaker or one championship.
Well, yeah, Ong's asking a few questions here. I put them on screen. Yeah, but we can read out a couple, I guess. Maybe Angela deserves favor. Adam Waite is more competitive and Panda's not finished anyone in the last 3 fights. Yeah, I think we're all on the same wavelength here in the chat and the hosts here. So people are excited to see the fight is my takeaway, but they're questioning the division and maybe Ham deserved the fight. But we're all kind of keen on this. I'm not going to not watch it. I'm going to be very excited. Hopefully going to be in Singapore for this one. I think time has run out on us going, Tom, for next week's show.
I think so.
But I am keen if I have to drag myself over there, if I have to jump on a boat and illegally. Actually, no, I don't mess around with Singapore.
You don't want to mess around with Singapore. But, it feels like, as you said at the top of this podcast, we were in the building for the first 2 fights, right? It would be very unsatisfactory to miss the third fight live. I feel like I need that closure now, In fact, I would say I'm a very important part of their rivalry just because I've been in the building for the first 2, You and I, Nick, are crucial to their rivalry. It won't be the same without us there.
Exactly. I remember vividly when we got back to the hotel after the first fight, and we were staying in the same hotel as the fighters, which was really cool. And Panda was just in the lobby taking selfies with everyone, and her face was a complete mess. It was such a cool moment. I don't think anyone gave her a chance in that first fight, and I would say a star was born that night for her in her case. I would argue maybe they haven't capitalized enough on her since then, but she also hasn't maybe done as much as she could have done to really build up her star power for this trilogy. If she just finished, Nicolini as well. I think that fight was the one that was a bit boring, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not a great fight. But this is one of the biggest fights that one can make at any given time, right? They've had this one in their back pocket for almost 3 years now, or I guess over 3 years now. We always knew it was going to happen. It's just, let's get it over with. Let's do it. Let's enjoy it, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah, Family S, thank you for this very nice comment. I'll read it out because we love to, stroke our own egos. Great podcast, guys. Great content. Please keep up the good work. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming fights. Thank you for watching and for commenting. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. We'll be back with more content. We'll be back next week with a fight companion for 160. And I guess one on Prime Video 1.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pulling double duty. It's just dawned on me. Oh, God. Maybe we just stay on the air for the whole the 9 hours between or whatever it is.
I think that's overnight for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be, I guess, actually. I don't know.
Let me think. Yeah, it's going to be Friday night for me.
Yeah, it'll be Saturday morning and Saturday night
for me.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a mega Saturday, aren't you?
It's going to be a great Saturday. I can't wait.
Oh wow. Yeah. Tom pulling double duty, literally. All right. Well, yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll do a preview as well on Wednesday, perhaps, if we got time. But yeah, it's fight week next week. Building up to it, we'll have all the interviews, of course, with from Media Day, and then we're still putting in a few last minute requests, I think, for some of the fighters on the card. So maybe you'll get some original interviews and not with that bad boy Andrew Whitelaw having all the fun. Right. Let's get some comments quickly. Ong. D'Angelo and Panda had their second fight. I knocked out Vera. He did. Thank you, Ong. Yeah. It was the second part of Century that you did that.
I always think back very fondly to that fight, and I've probably shared this little anecdote before, but we were exhausted that day. We'd perhaps been a bit irresponsible the night before, and it was like 15 straight hours of fights or something, right? And even if we'd gotten a great night of sleep, it was an exhausting day. And by the end of it, I think everybody was really, endurance was flagging. We were all kind of fizzling out a little bit. But then Brandon Vera and Ongla had this crazy fight. And, there were so many Burmese fans randomly in the arena in Tokyo that it just totally revived at least for me, it totally brought me back to life, that fight. So I always kind of think of that one as the one that shook off all the dust and got me back in there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight. I think it was my favorite fight of the whole day.
Yeah, for sure.
And they had a lot of competition, so that was we had some bangers in the morning. Anyway, Rain Lamina saying, is Xiong Jingnan better than Zhang Wei Li? I'm going to throw it to you, Tom.
Oh, man. I would say no, probably, but there's no way to know unless they fight, right? This is a tough question because they don't have a lot of common opponents either. So there's just not that much information. It's speculative, but, based on what we've seen from them and just the quality of the opposition, as we've said, I think at this point you have to say Zhang Wei Li's better, but who knows, man? Who knows?
Thanks for taking that. I totally ducked it. All right.
All right. I'm gonna duck one later if I don't like it. You owe me one.
Yeah. All right. I'll take the next one. Crombopulus Rosen saying, can Angela win this by late round sub again? I think if there's a winner, there's gonna be some dramatic ending to it. It's not gonna go to a decision. Probably gonna be a finish. If I'm Angela, I'm be worried a little bit the way that she got hurt with that body shot from Stamp, didn't she, in March? And she obviously got hurt with the body shot against Panda. she's got a target on that liver area now, hasn't she?
She sure does, man. Everyone knows that's the that's where her weakness is, or at least one of her weaknesses that's been exposed. So I think, I mean, Xiong knows she can win a fight with body shots against Angela. So obviously she's going to be looking for that. But on the flip side, you have to assume that Angela knows that everybody knows that this is a possible weakness. So she'll be ready to defend body attacks and gut through it if it comes to that. She did it against Stamp. I'm sure she can do it again.
I'm trying to get through these comments. Thanks. It's just great to see a lot of people involved again. Love to see it. I'll try and get through them all. Ong saying, I think Stamp's similar to Panda. Good striking and power, good grappling defense. Chaz Kim saying, Angela lost to Nicolini, who Xiong cruised past. Angela should have to beat Nicolini again. I have said this, Tom, many a time, that Angela was, I think they may have actually removed the rankings finally for strawweight. We can have a look here.
Yeah, they did, I think, yeah.
But for the longest time, we now we've just got atomweight, but they had a strawweight rankings and it was just hilarious because it had Panda at the top, champion. Then you had, I think Angela Lee was number 1 ranked for a bit, even though she lost to Panda, and then she lost to Nicolini. She was 0-2, and she was still ranked number 1 contender in the division. I think she went down to like 2 or 3 because you had Nicolini won a fight, Tiffany Teo won a fight, but it wasn't very stacked, let's say. But Angela being in the top 5, I always argue against because she'd have never won a fight at strawweight. It's like when you see McGregor in the UFC lightweight rankings, he's not won a fight at lightweight for 5 years, something like that.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. And Christian Lee was in the featherweight men's rankings in 1 for sort of 2-3 years after he announced he'd left the division and wasn't coming back, and just never understood why you keep them in there if it's not just for sort of name value, I guess. But yeah, I always thought Tom, Angela should have to go through a challenger to get another title shot at strawweight. I know she's the champ, but I think you got to follow the rules sometimes, or am I just being a little picky?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you, but on the other hand, like you said, she is the champ and she did just beat Xiong. So, there's that. She's beaten her before. I mean, I think that kind of lends some credence to her getting a title shot here. It's not the perfect situation, but as we've said, who else would get a title shot if not Angela right now? Name me a better fight for Xiong that's possible in one.
There isn't one, but exactly. I think there's a few fights for Angela.
Exactly. That's true. But then, that leaves Xiong out in the cold too. Maybe she wanted this fight at strawweight. Maybe she asked for it at strawweight. We don't know.
I can see it. Maybe her thinking is get the champ thing and then maybe vacate atomweight. I don't know. Do you think she could defend 2 belts at the same time? I guess it's not difficult because she's not going to have any challenges at strawweight, so she can just sort of defend atomweight a few times and then maybe give up one of them. I don't know.
I wonder what her plan is. It may have something to do with where Victoria goes, right? Obviously, because Victoria's in 1 now, making some waves and quite a distance from a title shot at this point. But if she wants to, stick to atomweight and work her way to the top there, then maybe Angela's thinking that she wants to get out of the way and let her little sister have some time in the spotlight. But again, as I've said, I've heard that Victoria is going up a weight class. So, in that event, it wouldn't make sense for Angela to, embark on some long reign at strawweight if her sister's working for the title there. Okay,
I will try and get through some more comments quickly because we have a few fights to talk about, Tom, don't we? Including this one here that Ong has raised. When we talk about the big boys, Bhullar versus Anatoly, we can talk about that soon. I think we'll just wrap up Angela stuff. We've probably said all we need to say. I'll just do some comments and we can switch it up a little bit. Ong asking as well what part of the UK I'm from. From England, London, England, southeast London to be precise, if you know or want to know. A place called Greenwich, where I grew up.
I've been there, man.
What, Greenwich, UK?
I have.
What did you think?
It was nice. Maybe I walked down your street, saw your childhood home.
Yeah,
who knows?
You may have done.
Yeah, I don't remember it very well.
You went to the park, I guess, or something?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in London. It was a long time ago at this point, but just poking around and yeah, man. Nice place. All right. It's a nice city.
WMMAC now saying outside of fighters nearing retirement, one hasn't been good at selling established fighters in MMA. Yeah, we talked about it a little before. They've kind of stuttered, I think, on MMA recruitment, although they had a pretty good signing recently, Tom, didn't they, with RoboCop, Roberto Soldic. Excited to see how he does. Spart Helder saying, you think Olivier Coste will ref for Lee? She will get away with a lot of fouls, like in a Nicolini fight. A lot of people don't like Olivier, Tom.
Yeah, and I get the sense that a lot of people don't like Angela Lee based on some of these comments, but I mean, that's fair. She has gotten a couple of beneficial calls over the years, I would say, but I don't know. I don't lose sleep over it personally.
I'll try and get through some more of these. Okay. Nick, did you meet Superbon in Thailand? Yeah, I did. RJ Bertil, sorry. A couple times, yeah. No, sorry, I met him in Singapore first after he beat Marat Grigorian, and then met him again in Thailand at Bangtao. And I have put in a request for Superbon for an interview. That's one I'm pretty confident we can get. He has just been announced. Maybe we can talk about that fight next, Tom.
Let's do it.
Finally doing it. Superbon against Chingiz Allazov, featherweight Grand Prix. Sorry, featherweight world title. Chingiz Allazov won the Grand Prix. They're going to do it. Yeah, it made sense. We knew it's going to happen since March. Glad they'd not messed around, and there wasn't really any other fight for either, was there, Tom? I guess I interviewed Superbon, and he expressed an interest in Tan Lei, a mixed rules bout, but I think they had to do this, and I hope they do go back to that Tan Lei idea, because that's intriguing to me. But this is the fight to make, wasn't it? There's no ifs or buts.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where when the matchup was announced earlier this week, it wasn't really announced. We knew it was going to happen. It was just a question of when, and now it's going to land on this Prime Video card. It's a great fight. I think I don't really expect it to be that competitive. I think at this point, Superbon is, he's proven that he's the guy right now. His last 3 wins have just been insane. I think the quality of opposition he's fought in his last 2 fights is superior to Chingiz Allazov. I don't think Chingiz is going to really bring anything new, or Chingiz is a beast, but I just look at the last 2 guys he's fought, Giorgio and then Marat. I mean, those are 2 of the best guys in the world, and he whooped them. So I think he'll do it again this time.
I think Superbon's going to win. Yeah, I think he's the best in the business, pound for pound, number 1 kickboxer on the planet for me. Admittedly, I don't know much about kickboxing though, Tom.
You're learning though. We're both learning, man. It's been so exciting, covering one over the last few years and really getting into the kickboxing and Muay Thai and learning about all these fighters. And
I'll never forget coming back from backstage, sitting down at the media area in Singapore Indoor Stadium, and you're just like, oh man, I think I just saw the best fight I've ever seen in my life. Hiroki Akimoto and Capitan.
It was definitely the best kickboxing fight I've ever seen. Yeah, that was crazy, man.
You were not giving me FOMO at all.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but it was so amazing, man. Hiroki is. I'm wondering where he is. I mean, after that fight, that was like a star-making performance. He became a champion. It was just like one of the most ridiculous performances I've seen. He just totally styled on him. It was amazing.
John KL, hello John, saying, will the Amazon Prime service be able to handle all this extra traffic?
Good question. Yeah, I've heard that Amazon is really working on this. They're beefing up the infrastructure, making sure they're ready for the extra strain. But yeah. I mean, I'm expecting some outages, but
billions of potential views.
It's just the nature of the business. Yeah,
they're never going to live this down.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's true. And the crazy thing is, it's. I mean, like. The wording of it means that it's not really a lie. I mean, they did say potential. Yeah. It's not impossible that every person on earth one day will tune in for a one show. I mean,
it's not impossible.
So funny to me. Yeah, it's not impossible. So
Alvin here as well. Hello, Alvin. Good morning, gentlemen. He says, look forward to a fantastic discussion about MMA. Yeah. You might want to go to another stream, Alvin. I'm kidding. No, we are having a fantastic discussion. I think Lots of comments. I'm just having a look. I'm trying to.
There's some beef in the comments right now.
Oh God,
guys, keep it clean.
Keep it clean, yeah. Soldic versus Derrida going to happen? Asked John. I think first they might do the Allazov thing. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. Admittedly, I don't watch a ton of KSW. I've watched enough of their events, but I've only seen Soldic fight a few times. But I feel like he would be a lot smaller than RDR, which maybe won't matter because he's so good. But RDR is, like, as we know, big at light heavyweight, right? And Soldic has fought at welterweight and has talked about fighting at Eddie Alvarez at lightweight. So that fight, the potential size difference, is a bit of a concern for me to kind of, strip some of the luster away from that fight. But then again, that's kind of the best option that one has for RDR right now too. So I'm all for it if they want to do that. But I think they will do Allazov first.
Ong is proposing a good.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. Soldic versus David Branch. I don't think David Branch is going to get another chance in one. That's just my 2 cents. Big Dash versus Atides, and then me versus Okami. Let the two most impressive winners fight. RDR versus winner. A tangent here, Tom, we could maybe spin off on quickly. Ong La seemed to let the cat out the bag, didn't he? That there's going to be a Tokyo event on Amazon Prime. Oh God. Yeah, I can't find the thing because I'm signed in on someone else's computer, so I don't want to go on their Instagram account to bring it up on screen. But there was an Instagram post from Ongla saying that I want to fight Yushin Okami in Tokyo on Amazon Prime. There is a Tokyo card coming up, so pretty good news, isn't it, Tom? We might get to go back to the city where we first met and bonded over beer in the lobby at 4 a.m. or whatever it was. What a magical night. But yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's, as you said, Ong La kind of, he let the cat out of the bag. I don't think it's official yet, but at the very least, we know that one is kind of thinking about this, doing a show in Tokyo sometime later this year. I forget what Ong said, but that'd be very exciting. I've made no secret of the fact that Tokyo is my favorite city in the world of the ones I've been to. I've been waiting to go back there since the last time we were there watching fights. So it would just be so awesome to get back there and cover some fights again. And that Okami matchup for Ong La, I think, is perfect. I like the idea of a little middleweight tournament. I don't know if they would want to make it official and do like a Grand Prix. I think that would be awesome, an awesome way to kind of breathe some life into the weight class. But the recurring problem is that there's just not enough bodies. Like you said, David Branch, I don't know if he's ever going to fight in one. I have my doubts also. Leaves like 3 or 4 guys, which just really isn't enough for a Grand Prix. But with Soldic, Ong La, Okami, maybe 1 or 2 other new signings, suddenly it starts to be a much more plausible idea.
Yes, I'm from the center of the world on GMT. There is a line you can go and stand on. I don't know if you did it, Tom, when you were there. In the middle of Greenwich Park, That is the center of the world, or something like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
But the center of our world right now is One Championship at this very moment. And Rudy says, I love One Championship and how they keep putting great fights. Have you heard anything about them having any fights in the States? No, they just keep saying Q3, 2019, Q3, 2020, Q3. They love Q3, don't they, Tom? But
although now they've said, I think, early 2023, right?
Okay.
I'm not
that'll
sure.
get pushed back, I think.
I believe One Championship will go to the States fairly soon, but at this point, I'm not, holding my breath for it to happen immediately. When they say next year, I'm taking it with a grain of salt because they've been saying that for a while. But obviously, I understand why. It's not easy to do these things. They could go, set up shop and have like a totally mediocre event in the States if they wanted to, I'm sure. But obviously, they want to do it right. They want to make it big. Really kind of make a statement when they arrive there. So I can understand why there are some delays. You want to, take all the precautions and make sure your ducks are in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've accidentally removed this thing from the screen, so I'm bringing it back now. Because we have a question about Superbon from Leonardo. I'm going to leave. There's some beef going on in the chat. I'll leave that to you guys to settle. But Leonardo says, in my opinion, Superbon got everybody's number in the division. I thought Grigorian was going to beat him. I think his distance management and his kicking is just superior. Having seen him up close and talked to the people there at Bangtao, you do get a sense of just how incredible this guy is. Volkanovski was raving about him to me, and when I asked him, and Volkanovski wants to train with him, Super wants to train Volkanovski, do some MMA. That's really cool. But yeah, he's just the best, isn't he, Tom? I think we already talked about it, but if you want to lavish any more praise on Superbon quickly, please go ahead. Now's the time.
But you summed it up, man. He's just the guy right now. And as Leonardo said too, he has everybody's number, in fact, I would just say that nobody has his. Really, that's what it is. He just has the style where nobody seems to be able to figure him out right now. His distance management, as you said, is awesome. His defense is great. He's got power. He's got great killer instincts. He sets traps. Like, look how he knocked out Giorgio. I mean, that was just amazing trap setting. Yeah, he's like kind of the perfect fighter right now, and he's still fairly young, so I don't think anybody's beating him right now.
All right, and Mr. Arjan Katal asking for a prediction on Bhullar and Malykhin. I think we'll get to that in a minute because there's one more here. Arjan, we're gonna quickly talk about, because I don't know much about grappling, so Mikey Musumeci and Kleber Souza for the inaugural flyweight submission grappling title in one. First grappling belt one's putting up, and as just from the article I read that Tom wrote and I put on the website today, scmp.com/martial arts. Check us out. No paywall. You don't have to subscribe to SCMP to read our articles on scmp.com/martial arts. Mikey Musumeci and Kleber Souza are 1-1, Tom. You might know a little bit more than me, but it's not a complete gimme for Musumeci, is it?
No. Again, I will also clarify that I don't know a ton about submission grappling. In fact, of all the martial arts that one is proffering these days, this is the one that I know the least about, in terms of the technique of it, and also just in terms of the scene and the various tournaments and competitions around the world. It's hard for me to keep track of, but I'm learning and I'll continue to learn. What I do know is that Mikey is obviously a guy that one championship sees a lot of potential in. I think they see him as a future star potentially. He's very young. He's got a great personality. This is not a gimme fight. Kleber has beat him before, so it could definitely happen again. But like you said, this Mikey's the guy, and I think the hope probably is that he's going to win a title here and become a big star for them. And I think that's probably how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm all for it, but there's no divisions, there's no rankings. I'd rather we set up some actual divisions first and have Grand Prix, something like that, to crown the winner.
I kind of think maybe they're trying to crown a champion and then have a Grand Prix. I think that might be the strategy, so that there's the Grand Prix fighters have something to,
you're giving too much credit. I think they just want to put a big ass belt on this guy and it's gonna look, he's quite small like me and like you.
That's true.
It's gonna be a big image, and they're gonna push him. He gets a lot of traction in the US. He was just on Joe Rogan, wasn't he? On podcast.
Yeah. It's
smart by them. They want American stars. They want American champions on Prime Video, don't they?
Yeah, and they've really, the strategy is smart too, introducing submission grappling and stuff, because there's not really any, big organizations out there that are signing submission grapplers to exclusive contracts like this. One is, really the only one, and certainly they have more money to do that with than anyone else. And by doing that, they open this entire new market for themselves. They can get all these guys that are big names in their sport, like Mikey. Whereas if they're just gunning for free agents in MMA, they're competing with the PFL and the UFC and Bellator. But nobody's after these stars of the submission grappling world right now. So it's an interesting strategy by one, and I think it's going to work out pretty well as they look to push into the States, because some of these guys are pretty popular. Look at Mikey, and Danielle has obviously got a big following too. It's a cool strategy.
Yep, hope it works out and bring some eyes to Prime Video. And talking Prime Video, PJ Man's asking, is Prime Video a good platform for one? Why don't you take this, Tom? Another one I'm just going to lob at you there.
Is Prime a good platform for one? Yeah, excuse me. When they were discussing, or when we were waiting to see where one would land, where their new broadcast home would be, I said at the time that I thought a streaming service was the most likely option. I was thinking maybe DAZN or something like that, but Prime Video is as good as any. It's definitely has bigger reach than DAZN. I would say, Prime Video is probably one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world. Without knowing the actual metrics, I would say behind Netflix. It's got to be the biggest, right? It's reliable. Obviously they've got tons of resources to make sure the broadcast looks nice. They're going to work with One to make sure the product is, reflective of the quality they want. I think it's a great home for One, and streaming services are great too, because you don't have to worry quite as much about, scheduling and, prime. Obviously they're trying to get it on in prime time and stuff, but you're not competing with other shows. It's I think it's a great home for One.
Right, Bara Ruai, I hope I pronounced that right, is asking if Superbon beats Allazov, maybe he can challenge for the Muay Thai title from Pet Marikot or Tawanchai. I think that's a great idea. And Superbon did tell me in Thailand he wants the Muay Thai title as well. He wants everything, Tom. He's coming for all the belts.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's, I think, what will happen if he wins this fight. And obviously we have to wait for that Pet Marikot fight. But I think Tawanchai is probably the only other real awesome challenge for Superbon right now. That's the fight that I would really like to see after this. Pet Marikot fight would be cool too, but I'd like to see him fight Tawanchai in Muay Thai.
Will he be the GOAT if he keeps defending his belt, asks Crom Bopulus. I don't know. He already beat the GOAT. Does that make him the GOAT?
That's the age-old question, right? What do you have to do to kind of steal GOAT status from somebody else? Is it as simple as just beating them? Or do you have to beat them twice, or beat them and a bunch of other people? It's totally depends how you feel about it, I guess. But he's on his way for sure already. He's he's on his way, and more title defenses against guys like Murat and Chingiz, and potentially fights with Tawanchai and stuff. Yeah, he's on his way. He doesn't have to do that much more, I don't think.
Any idea when Alan El Pantera and Alani is getting his shot? I feel the heavyweight division is dodging him lately. Can't blame them. 12 have tried, only 6 succeeded. Derrida's calling for that fight, John, isn't he? Tom, he wants a little snack, he said to us.
Yeah,
because he's not going to get the heavyweight fight he wants right now, so he wants to stay busy. I think he wants to take a Muay Thai fight with Alani. It'd be a cool little spectacle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be cool. I don't know what word I would use to describe that fight. I would definitely watch it. It would be whimsical. I don't know who would win, because Galani is a beast, but and a great striker. Obviously, that's what he's good at in MMA. But he's in his 40s. There's a lot of reasons to pick against him in that fight. Obviously, RDR is a great striker now too, but a grappler first and foremost. I don't think that one will ever happen, just because I sort of feel like that's a bad look for One when they start doing things like that. If they do a super fight between guys like Demetrius Johnson and Rodtang, those are two guys at the top of their sports. Obviously RDR is, but just having RDR in a Muay Thai fight against a guy like Galani, it's just so random and kind of seems haphazard. I don't think that'll ever happen.
There's just so many comments I'm trying to get through, but we still need to talk about a few other fights. So quickly, Leonardo saying Abasov's easy work for Soldic, and then Soldic v Ramazanov. If he beats him, the sky's the limit. Soldic, yeah, they definitely got someone, top quality fighter on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and RJ is stirring a pot here. How come Christian Lee can hit the back of the head and win, but Eddie Alvarez loses by DQ and uses the same strikes?
Well, I can answer that. That's a really easy question. These things are really difficult to deal with in the moment when you're a referee. Sometimes you make the wrong decision. It's a human error happens all the time in any job, especially a job like refereeing. It sucks when it happens, but
yeah,
it's just impossible to have total consistency because people make mistakes.
And now they've disbanded the
committee. I know. How are we supposed to review things internally now?
Exactly. Take it to the board. What did Christian say? It was really funny. He said, I'm taking this to the board. When he lost to Okri. It was really good. Awesome. Spot Helder saying, will this show you bigger than UFC 275 in terms of attendance? The Angela Lee one, or the one coming up next week, I think they'll get more attendance for the Lee fight. Definitely. I don't think it'll be as much of a gate. It's not going to be as much of a gate, is it, as UFC? Will they sell it out? I don't know. they had 6,000 last time, and there was half attendance cut off capacity. Are you confident they could sell it out, Tom? It's a pretty good card for me. I don't know what's going on though with the night before. Are you getting a 2-for-1 deal like that, or is it going to be empty arena? I really hope it's not going to be empty arena.
I think we saw that it is going to be empty the night before, isn't it? Or at the very least, they're not selling tickets. Maybe they're giving people access to it if they buy tickets for the following day. I think DJ and Adriano, it's a good enough card that it could sell out the Singapore indoor stadium. I don't know what the attendance is there. I don't think it's not huge, right? It's like 10,000 or something. So it's just possible. I don't know. The advantage that the UFC has, as I've said before, in a place like Singapore, is that they're there once every couple of years, whereas one has a show there a couple times a month, right? So the UFC is just kind of it's an unfamiliar thing for people living in Singapore. Obviously people will go for that reason alone, just because it's a little more unusual than one.
Yeah, you have a lot of Australians came in, didn't they? Because there were 4 Aussie fighters on the card. One doesn't seem to get that draw, does it, from Australia?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not an important market for them. But anyway, Ken Rather saying, if one does go to the States, wouldn't the rules change since they're not ruled by the commission? Well, Rich Franklin's been going around getting the rule set approved, I think, in Colorado. Was it, Tom?
Yeah, I think it was Colorado. That was the first one, and I think he's still kind of working on it in other places too. Just weighing the options.
Leonardo says, only one of my American friends is expecting a card in the States since Obama was president. All right. There we go. As in, you mean he's been waiting since 2008 or whatever? That's a long time. I mean, one has not been around that long, but is that my maths right?
Anyway. I think Obama left office in 2016.
Okay, so it could have been then. All right. Yeah. All right. A lot of questions here. Is he going to rematch Petrosian or Ken? I think Petrosian's got to. He just came back, didn't he, at his own show? We talked about it.
Yeah.
Isn't he? But he'd probably need to get a win or two first, Ken, I imagine, in one before he gets that shot, because it's not like his competitive fight. It was, it was what it was. All right, quickly look at these. Nick, did you interview Josh Hinger, Jamar Stevenson, like you talked about in the last podcast? You said he was a great teacher. I didn't interview Josh. I tried to like 5 times, kept asking him. He kept saying yes, and then it just one of those things didn't happen because we were doing some fitness classes together. He's a really nice guy, and he was quite busy because he was training Zhang Weili for her fight at UFC 275. So didn't happen, but I might chase it up. I'm sure I'll see him again next time I'm back there. He's kind of a nomad. He's always floating around the world. So if the schedules meet up, love to interview him. Really interesting guy. He's got a lot of links to One Championship as well. He got his black belt under Andre Galvao at Atos, and he brought the twins, the Ruotolo twins, up from when they were 5 years old. Josh Hinger gave them their black belts, and he can tell you all about them. So really cool guy. Anyway, a lot of questions here. Try and get through. When is Eddie Alvarez coming back? The spelling of coming. Anyway, we're a PG show. I don't know. We're hoping it's soon. It's got to be on one of these prime cards. You would hope. Somehow. All right, I'm not going to get in these. There's a beef going on. Anyway,
I can't even tell what the issue is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sail through it, guys. But what's next? Tom? Maybe we can talk some fights quickly.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I'll bring it on screen.
We can get to that. Oh yeah.
So let's go to the, what is it called? 161 Bhullar versus Malykhin. All right, here we go. A few of you wanted us to talk about it, and there you go. We're doing it now. Arjun Bhullar against Anatoly Malykhin, unifying the heavyweight title finally about 6 months after Malykhin. Even longer, actually. When did he do it? February,
January?
Yeah.
February.
We've known this fight's going to happen for a long time. It was meant to happen in July, got put back. Now we're doing it September 29th or whatever it is, September 30th. I think it's the day before the Prime. Or is this one the Thursday? Am I wrong?
This is the Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you got to imagine what's going on. There's something going on, isn't there? But
Probably.
yeah, maybe there's some event at the arena, a big concert.
Maybe. Yeah.
But Arjun Bhullar, yeah. So early prediction. I think that was asked by someone in the chat. Tom, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
That's all right, man. That's why I'm here. It's a tough matchup to call. It's weird. I've watched Arjun Bhullar fight, 6 times or something now, and I'm still not really sure how good he is. If I don't know why. It's just like I feel like I don't know if he's underperforming or overperforming. Like I just don't really have a solid read on him yet, and I can't explain it. I know he's great at wrestling. His striking gets better from fight to fight. I don't think he has a ton of power, which could be a problem, in terms of his continued success at heavyweight. But yeah, it's hard for me to pick his fights just because for whatever reason I just can't seem to get a read on this guy and where his ceiling is. But I do feel like I have a pretty good sense of what Malykhin's all about. He's got huge power, really good boxing, especially for a heavyweight. And yeah, apparently, he's got this great wrestling background too to fall back on when the boxing fails him. So all that to say, right now I'm leaning towards Malykhin. When you throw in Bhullar's long layoff and all the distractions he's had outside the cage with the contract stuff, it's just seems all the clearer to me. So yeah, I'll lean Malykhin right now.
Yeah, and the age, I think you don't want to sit out for 2 years when you're 35 or something. Maybe I'm being.
That's it. And it's Arjun. Obviously you want to try to get a better contract and take care of yourself and negotiate properly and stuff. But it's not just about money, right? You're also negotiating with time in this sport, and he's.
What a line.
I mean, you are, and he may have gotten a better deal, but at what cost? He's lost 2 years of his career almost, right?
Yeah, 36 now.
Who knows how much money he could have made if he'd been fighting during this time. It's a gamble he's made. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, if I'm one, I'm either putting Renier Derrida front row or I'm putting him on the card, and I'm having him get in the ring with the winner. And I'm having a stare down, and I'm setting that next fight up for the winner
on Prime.
Yeah,
Although none of those guys are American, so maybe they don't see that as like a Prime friendly fight. I'm not sure. Then again, we got Nongo and Liam Harrison and Rod Tang on this first one.
Yeah, so, Liam Harrison. Shout out to Liam Harrison. Check out my interview with him on SCMP MMA or Martial Arts YouTube, SCMP Martial Arts Instagram. I put a little teaser up, a clip, if you want to get a taste of what went down. Really nice guy. Good to chat to him. He's in Bangkok at the moment, training with Superlek. Pretty cool. He was saying he thinks Superlek's going to win the whole damn thing. Yeah. But anyway, very interesting. Lots of comments here still. I'll try and get a few. Buako in, have I pronounced it right? I always get it wrong. In BKFC, Tom.
I don't like that at all, man. And I don't like Senshai in BKFC either. I'm not really a BKFC hater. It's not something I really enjoy watching, but a lot of people just seem to just hate it because it exists. I can kind of take it or leave it if it's on. Sometimes I watch it, but I don't want to see guys like this in that sport. I mean, they're legends in Muay Thai. I don't know why they would deprive themselves of their elbows and their knees and their feet to fight guys who aren't even good. I assume they're making a ton of money. That's obviously the answer. But Senshai was doing that on the exhibition circuit anyway. He's, he travels around the world just styling on people in Italy and stuff that outweigh him by 40 pounds. I'd like to see him continue doing that. Those fights he has are always fun to watch. But I mean, what can you do? I'm gonna watch both of the debuts probably, but I don't want to see either of those guys in BKFC personally.
All right,
unless one of them fights Dave Leduc, I can get down with that.
You still writing that book for Dave Leduc?
To be determined, man. Dave's a busy guy, so we'll see, man.
It's on hold. All right, Leonardo. When Eddie got DQ'd, I joked about the referee being thrown into a pit with crocodiles. I haven't seen the referee since. I can't remember who ref that one. Yeah, I don't think it was Olivier. So, one championship, they have a tendency, to you don't get invited back if you if you do something. Mm-hmm. I think they fired a judge midway through a show once. I've heard.
Yeah, that's kind of like a one championship legend, eh?
Yeah. All right. So we'll just recap this other fight, and then I guess can answer a few more questions. We said we'd be here for an hour. But I guess could do a little bit longer. Whatever.
Yeah, no worries.
Pet Marcotte against Tawanchai Tom, featherweight Muay Thai world title on the co-main event. It looks like of 161. I mean, I didn't like how we got there with Tawanchai and Nicholas Larson being a main event of a numbered show when you could have had Jared Brooks and Joshua Pasiar. But yeah, we got there, we did. And Pet Marcotte also had a mighty scare, didn't he, against Jimmy Fiano? So it's kind of we got here, but I'm still looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a good one. Tawanchai, one of my favorites. Pet Marcotte, my boy. I'm a big fan of him. He's on my list, Tom.
Okay, he's on the
you
list.
Have your list.
Yeah.
What do you think though?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. It's just not great how Tawanchai kind of got into this situation, but it's not his fault at all. Is the other thing, right? I mean, that's just the way that it happened, and he deserves a title shot. He's like one of the best guys in Muay Thai right now, and I think he'll become the champion probably, especially after watching Pet Marcotte's last fight. I thought he lost that fight. It was super close. Like, it wasn't a robbery either way. I think people would have been unhappy no matter what happened with the judges in that one. But to me, that was an indication that he's, maybe slowing down a bit or losing interest or something. And that's not how you want to be against a guy like Tawanchai, who's in the prime of his fighting life and better than pretty much, anybody else in the sport, with the exception of a couple guys like Superbon.
All right. Let us know your thoughts, everyone, on these two fights here on screen. Those are the 4 fights. Were there any others? You were mentioning Ritu and Bora. Sorry, I keep pronouncing his name. Bara Ruai mentioned Stamp and Jihin. I've heard that's in the works as well. So a couple big fights at atomweight again. Finally, Tom, it looks like.
Yeah, the Ritu's fighting Tiffany in. I don't remember when they. That's on the same card actually as Arjun. One just announced that like yesterday or something. It's a good fight. I think Ritu will probably win, which I think will be good for the division. She's obviously a big name in that weight class and capable of beating a lot of the other girls there. And then the Stamp versus Jihin fight, unconfirmed, but yeah, I think we've all kind of heard whispers about that one. I don't know 100% if it's going to happen or where it's going to land, but that's an awesome fight. I think that's probably the best fight that can be made in that division right now, just in terms of the skill of the girls involved and the matchup itself. You got a great grappler in Jihin fighting great striker, but Jihin's striking's gotten better and Stamp's grappling's gotten better. It's a perfect little fight. So I hope that one happens. And I don't know who I think will win that one. I guess probably Stamp if I had to pick, but we'll see.
Yeah, apparently she's talked about it in interviews. I've heard it's happening. So I think Stamp's it's not an easy fight. I think it's a bit of a, kind of get back in the win column thing. They're throwing Jihin. Jihin's had a couple of big wins recently.
Jihin's right there, man. She's I would say she's one win away from a title shot now.
She beat Stamp, but
and I think she deserves a lot of credit in this matchup. Like, this is not an easy fight for Stamp, I don't think.
But as Chaz Kim saying in the chat, one's keeping my countrywoman Ham on the sidelines. 2 fights in 2.5 years, and she's in her mid-30s now. It's criminal. Yes, she should be getting. That's the problem, right? You become the number 1 contender in a division where the champion is fighting for or has their eyes on another belt. I hate these log jams that happen, Tom. It's just becoming more commonplace, isn't it, in MMA?
Yeah, it's not just a one problem, that's for sure. It's it's just what happens when you have these champions who have ambition to go win additional titles in other weight classes. It's great for them, but it sucks for everyone else in their weight class, and that's what the people in Angela's division are going to have to deal with for the next couple of months. But I think Angela will be back down defending her title soon, one way or the other.
Leonardo saying Bhullar and Malykhin is most expected fight of the year. Anatoly's going to murder Bhullar badly. If Bhullar pulls out and Renier steps in, Anatoly's going to beat him too. Malykhin could be top 3 in the UFC. What do you think about that? What a statement.
That's a big statement. I mean, that's awesome if it's the most expected fight of the year for you. I'm glad it's finally happening. It's been announced. It's definitely going to be a good one. As I said, I think I'm leaning Anatoly in this one, but I don't really know. yeah, I just don't know. I don't know about Arjun. I know his wrestling's amazing, but it's just he kind of looks like he's sparring sometimes when he's fighting. It's just kind of hard to get a read on him, and that's not even a knock on him. He's a kind of a volume puncher, which is unusual for heavyweight. Yeah, so I don't know, but I'm going to lean Malykhin on that one, and I don't know about Malykhin being top 3 if he was in the UFC. That's a vicious division over there. But he's really good. He's got the wrestling, he's got the boxing, he's got the power, he's got the personality. I think he'd be a great champion for one if he wins the title.
Yeah, Ong's breaking it down a little bit here in the chat. I'm putting some of his comments on screen. Malykhin, more powerful striker. Bhullar, more technical striker. And Bhullar has better cardio.
I think Bhullar definitely has better cardio. And I think Bhullar maybe kicks more, but I don't know if he's a better striker. But yeah, that's a good assessment, though.
Percy asking, is one going to carry all of one's cards? I think it's just these Prime Video ones, and it's just in the US and Canada. The numbered shows, I think in the US, you're just going to get them on YouTube, I think. Don't quote me. Someone was asking me on Instagram, Tom, on our channel, on our page, when I posted Liam Harrison clip about, is it going to be on Prime in the UK? But no, I think it's just US and Canada.
Yeah, someone asked me actually on Instagram too about that recently, and it was the same answer. If you're living outside those markets, it's business as usual for you for the moment.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy, I would never complain having to watch it on YouTube. It's free.
It's true.
The secret ingredient.
Free fights. Yeah.
Okay. WWE scene now. I'd rather see the Thai legends in Letway where they have more weapon options.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, it's Mohammed Suleiman is the ref, apparently. He's a very good ref for not stopping Big Dash Guillotine RDR. Yeah, I don't think that would have been very bad stoppage because Derrida was moving, wasn't he? He never looked out. Anyway, Alvin saying, will you gentlemen be covering Mr. Johnson versus Mr. Moraes? Such a fantastic rematch with great fighters, wishing both good health, good performance. Yeah, we'll be covering it, Alvin, sadly, from the comfort of our, not living rooms, I don't know, a room in our abodes, I think. We'll be doing a fight companion. I hope you can join us, Alvin. Spread some of that positivity. That's what we like to see and hear.
Alvin's the man. Always nice to hear from you, Alvin.
All right, lots of other comments here. Trying to pick out some good ones. You seen any, Tom? You want to bring on screen?
Here's one from Leonardo. This is what I'm wondering too, and I think what Nick's wondering as well. We're all wondering, when is this Pasio versus Brooks fight going to happen? I have not heard anything since a couple of weeks after the initially planned matchup fell through. I don't know what they're planning. But I think it's probably a pretty safe bet that it's going to land on one of the Prime cards before the year's out, just because Jared's American. He's kind of building a good following. I think he's a decent star. He's probably capable of headlining one of those cards, especially if they throw another title fight or two on there. But yeah, I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything, Nick?
No, I just saw that Joshua Pascal went for a run today with what's his name? The landslide, Edward Flying. And,
he's on my list.
Kevin Bellingham, yeah. They went for a trail run, so I don't know, maybe he's upping the cardio. Does that hint he might be fighting soon? I don't know. Or they just love to run. I think they
gotta get that road work in, yeah.
I'd love to see that fight. I still annoyed it didn't happen in June, whenever it was supposed to happen. But we move on. How often will we be hosting this amazing podcast, says Alvin? Every week, hopefully, Alvin, on Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Asia time. If you're in Hong Kong or Singapore, at least that's the best time Tom and I can do from across the world.
I could probably do earlier or something if you want ever, but this works pretty well for me.
It works all right, yeah.
Cool.
Seem to get some good audience interaction. Anyways, one needs to find somewhere to establish a fight library, says WMAC now, rather than reposting fights to YouTube every 3 months. Yeah, I agree. I hate seeing the same fights reposted with new thumbnails and the thumbnails with the hot female fighters. It's a bit questionable, when they put the Instagram pics. But,
it is actually.
Yeah, maybe they can establish a library on Prime. I don't know.
I think that will probably happen. Yeah, I would assume so. I was excited to see the other day when I was perusing Amazon Prime. I saw the One Championship thumbnail on there, just organically. I didn't seek it out. It was there. It said coming soon or something. That was kind of cool.
Good show, gents. Says Chaz. Thank you, Chaz. Been missing the live shows SCMP MMA. Yeah, we're trying to make a bit more of an effort. It's been a few crazy months, but we'll definitely have Fight Companions next week for these double header of shows.
Tricky sometimes too when there's these lulls between fights, where there's
there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I was dreading this week, and then luckily we got a few fights we could talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
We talked about it a lot. I think one needs to have some kind of 2 shows a month kind of thing, and one fight night type show, and then one pay-per-view. But now it looks like they're just doing these double headers, so we're not going to get a mid-month show, I think, Tom.
I don't think so, no.
It'd be good if they could do some kind of prospect show, like the Warrior Series at least. Just set up a small, like I've said, small studio in Singapore. Just something we could talk about on these shows.
Yeah. Those were fun, but I kind of feel like they're scratching that itch right now with the Road to One shows and stuff, So yeah.
John, Alvin's been following John's blog. Will you guys be following in his footsteps? Not me.
I don't think so.
If you don't, John Hyunko, he's fighting. He's training in Bangtao, and he's gonna have a fight. He's been down there for about 5 months now, I think, maybe 4 months. He's looking in really good shape. Good luck to him. His latest update, he seemed to hint he's had some injury problems and stuff, so I hope he's okay. But another guy actually just fought, Anton Tabuena from Bloody Elbow. Did you see?
Yeah,
he just fought at Bangla. He was training at Bangtao. Yeah.
Huh. He fought?
Yeah, he just went down to Bangla.
Oh, nice.
And knocked some fool out.
Nice,
and
man.
Flew back to the States he's from. I think he's Filipino, but I don't know where he lives. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, John's got a lot to live up to now.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
John's following in his footsteps, perhaps.
Very cool.
Yeah. You think you might go and take a fight?
Maybe a smoker somewhere, like one of those like white collar boxing matches or something when I'm 50 or something. But no, I don't think so, man. I can't commit to training the way John's training.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah,
I think when you live in the city, like me, and I don't know if Ottawa's a city.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of tough, isn't it, to get that stuff in? Everything's so far apart.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. I just don't think I have the fortitude to do what he's doing, man. I'd get I'd lose motivation. I wouldn't succeed.
Well,
but I would definitely win my fight.
I would definitely lose.
I'm undefeated.
I told Tom this actually. I'm going to share it on the stream because it's funny. I had a dream or / nightmare that I was put in as an emergency late replacement for a main event fight on a One Championship card with for an interim title against Fabricio Andrade. Because Lineker pulled out or something. So I was, I don't know why, and I was begging Fabricio before the fight, like, please, just like give me a soft punch somewhere. It's not hurt. I'll go down and tap out, or don't kill me. And he was really nice about it. It was like a month ago or something, month and a half.
So funny, man. I like that your brain kind of went to like the scariest fight imaginable too. There's probably nobody he's like the last guy I would want to fight in one, I think.
Yeah, the Wonder Boy. I'll try and catch up with him again soon because love chatting to him. He's a great guy. And more praise. Got to put it on screen. Thank you. WAC now. We haven't had much the last few months. Yeah, we're glad to see people enjoying them, having them back, and we're going to be more consistent for sure. Trying to find a few more volunteers as well. Shannon, we'll try and get Shannon back as well for the companion next week. I I've been
Yeah.
afraid to ask him after he's done a few already. It's a bit time consuming, so he's training for a fight, or he's always training. But get that man a fight. Hashtag Shannon Weirchai. Anyway, let's see a few more comments here, then we can get the heck out. Townley versus Tankai will be an absolute cracker, says Family S. I cannot
Really good.
disagree with you. Is Sage Northcutt still with one? Asked Percy. Yes, he is, and I think he is fighting soon. I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the year is out, I believe.
Yeah, I can't say much more, but if you're a fan of Super Sage, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. What happened to Shinya? Says On. He was submitting everyone in the first round before he started talking trash and getting KO'd. Yeah, that's what happened to him.
Well, I mean, it was only he's on a 1-fight losing streak, right? I mean, it was just the Akiyama fight that he lost. It's not like he's totally fallen off. And he was winning, like dominating that fight until he lost too. So I think it's a little early to be putting his coffin in the ground. But yeah, I mean, Shinya is still probably one of the best lightweights in one.
Yeah, Cosmo killed Sage. That was 3 years ago. It's crazy. Neither man has fought since, and the one who's coming back first is Sage Northcutt.
Yeah,
not Cosmo.
Yeah, that's so brutal to me because Cosmo, that was just like a star-making performance for him. He blew away a guy that had a lot of hype. I think Cosmo kind of had the qualities, some star qualities as well. He had a great style and he's a good-looking dude. He speaks pretty well. He's an interesting guy. I mean, I feel like they missed an opportunity there to really make something happen with Cosmo.
I agree. All right, a couple more questions. I think we're gonna get out of here.
There's a good one from Jomar Stevenson there.
Yeah.
Who is this Alvin guy? He's so positive. You answered your own question. Alvin's the most positive guy in the world. That's why we love having him around.
Yeah, go follow Alvin Yakitori on Twitter. I think it's just at Alvin Yakitori. I think you can find him there. Really nice guy. Will you gentlemen be wishing all the one fighters as well a good performance? Yeah, of course. We always wish them the best,
Every single one of them, man.
Yeah, mad respect.
And they're all nice people too, for the most part. All good people, and yeah, it's easy to root for these people.
Yeah. Peace to all my weird haters in the chat. Have fun in Drake's chat. Yeah, there's been a whole thing going on in the chat today. Trying to stay out of it.
Yeah, take a page out of Alvin's book, guys. How about a little positivity?
Yeah, and Jazz saying one had 3 shows a month last year. Now the restrictions done, they reduced the shows. Yeah, it's still difficult, I think, for them to go anywhere other than Singapore, and then they probably can't get the arena more than once a month.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy is, but I do. I kind of like the one event a month thing. It presents a lot of challenges just in terms of coverage, but it really builds anticipation, especially when there's 2 events back to back every month. Because that was a criticism of the UFC for a long time, and it still kind of is. These shows every week, the quality really drops off, But one is kind of building these big events at the end of every month. It's kind of good too if you think about it. But
I just miss it gets a little quiet,
It does. That's why something like Warrior Series or Hero Series or whatever would be nice to have in the middle of the month. Just something to keep us sated, keep us fed while we wait for the main course.
I'm sure they're aware of it, and it's not something they want to do, but needs must. Restrictions are what they are. So I'm just happy we're getting anything. There was a time when we were not getting any one shows.
Well said.
Yeah. Singapore, there was a few times there were too many COVID cases, right? And then shows got cancelled, put back. Happy to have it. As Chaz says, though, one having empty arenas after UFC sold out the entire venue is not a good look. Yes, it is not. I've even had people at work ask me this. Someone's sister went to UFC show and then said like it was packed, and then how's one going to do empty shows? It's not a good look, is it, Tom?
It's not, but also I've never really quite gotten these concerns like as a fan. I mean, you can't really tell in these broadcasts if the arena's full or not because one takes great care to make sure they're not showing you empty seats, right? It doesn't really change the broadcast. You can't hear the fans, which sucks, and obviously it changes the environment in the arena massively. That goes without saying, but I don't think it's really all that big of a deal personally, and I'm always willing to give one a pass on this in Singapore only because they have so many events there. There's no other promotion in the world that promotes events in one city over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, the new Leon, just carrying water, and I cannot criticize one.
I'll criticize one anytime, man. I'm just saying, and I've felt this way too when people talk about UFC pay-per-view buys and things like that. I mean, to me, this doesn't actually matter all that much, whether there's fans in the arena or the pay-per-view sells a million pay-per-views. The fights are still the same. It is kind of bad optics, though. I will concede that, but I'm kind of willing to give one a pass just because they have to do it in Singapore over and over and over again.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that point. It's a good point. You don't want to oversaturate that market like that. You want to save it for 2 special events a year, I guess, like 1X and now this DJ one, but they're going to have to sell tickets a month later for Angela. But I think October maybe is going to be Tokyo, which is a good sign. They might be getting back on the road. It's time to get out of Singapore. As much as we like Singapore, Tom, we've seen enough.
Mm-hmm. Back to Bangkok, man.
Yeah, back to Bangkok.
Manila.
As Jamar saying here, I think they're going to go back to Thailand. Hopefully, I just want to go back to Thailand. I want to go back to Manila. I want to go back to KL,
Tokyo.
Yeah, follow this crazy road show.
Follow the circus, the traveling circus.
Yeah, I think that's it. Do you want to wrap it up or what? We good?
Sure, man. Yeah, I mean, there's one more question there from Percy. Will one ever do a pay-per-view card again? I think so. I think any events they do in Japan are usually pay-per-views, right, on a Bima.
It's interesting though now because they got the Prime side of things.
Right. Yeah. True. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Pay-per-view doesn't work outside the US.
It's a pretty fair assessment.
You'd never get the numbers out of one either. So, anyway,
yeah,
that is it. Great sesh, good chat. Thank you everyone for talking to us on this Wednesday night, Wednesday morning for some of you.
It's not quite Friday, man.
No,
I wish.
Just wish. Yeah, maybe we've livened up your work day, or something, or whatever. And we'll be back next week. We'll be back hopefully Wednesday for a preview, and then Friday for the first card. Saturday I'll come back. Tom's gonna have a hell of a long Saturday. It looks like
that's gonna be great, man.
Yeah. Good show, guys. Thanks, John. Have a good week. You too. And thank you everyone saying nice things for us. We
thank you.
Appreciate it. Tom, what do you got coming up as well? Anything good?
Well, I mean, we got these big fights coming up next week, so all kinds of coverage surrounding those really is what's in the pipeline for me. As you said at the top of this little podcast, we're working on some kind of last-minute interviews with the people we haven't gotten to yet on these cards. I've already spoken to Ton Lee and Christian Lee and Adriano and a couple other guys. Those interviews are back a little ways on the YouTube channel, but may speak to a few of them again, and certainly some of the stragglers that we haven't spoken to yet. So stay tuned for all that.
Yeah, and I'll try and chip in with a few. I really enjoyed having an interview with Liam Harrison. Rare interview from me these days. Tom is taking a lot of this work.
It's my pleasure, man.
But fight week, I spring into action. You better believe it. I'll be there next week with some interviews. Just had a little text off Sammy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, Sammy asking about a media day for one on Prime Video. So maybe we'll be bringing you our own stuff.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, stop giving this guy Andrew Whitelaw exposure. Anyway, yeah, that's it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, help us. We're so close to 28,000 subscribers. What are we? Let me look it up on my phone. It's right here. 27,974. We just need.
What do you think? 30,000 by the end of the year? Easy.
It's punchy. Yeah, that's punchy. But
if
we were in Singapore next week, I think we'd get a ton.
Yeah.
DJ and Angela, we got to be there for Angela. So I'm flying myself, Tom. I'm gonna just swim if I have to.
All right, man. Me too. I'll take a canoe or something.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. It's been a good time. Right. I've been distracted by comments. I don't know what's going on. Aim for 50G. Is that something?
50,000 subscribers, I think.
Oh yeah.
That's a good target.
By the end of the year, that's tough. That's tough. Because we were like 25,000 in April or something, 26. It's been pretty slow, hasn't it, Tom, since the 1X? But we burst back to life with our last fight companion, so we're coming back strong. All right, I'm gonna end it there.
All right.
Good night and good luck. We'll see you all again next time.